Welcome back to the Naval News segment, everybody. Today, we're looking at the WarZone. This story written jointly by Joseph Therafic and Brent Tingley, two great writers for the WarZone. They write, the C-17 loads of anti-tank missiles arrived in Ukraine courtesy of the United Kingdom. The shipments came with claims of controversy over the C-17's appearance to avoid German airspace, but both countries say that was not the case. That is different than what I was told. So let's just see what actually happened. And here you can see the containers that the missiles come in. I don't know if the UK missile is the Javelin. They probably have their own version of the Javelin, but it's essentially a very similar missile if it's not the Javelin. But let's read from the piece and see what they say. Officials in the United Kingdom and Germany have pushed back against speculation that there's been some kind of diplomatic disagreement between the two countries over British air bridge operations that are delivering next-generation light anti-tank weapons NLAWs, to the Ukraine. Let's just take a moment and take a look at the NLAW. Fishing dude finds the missile tail section in the English Channel. So here's part of the NLAW. After it's fired, I guess this tail section falls off. Yeah, there it is. It's like a booster. Okay, very cool. This is a cool picture of it being shot there. So those are the missiles we're talking about. Apparently, we sent a cargo plane full of them to the Ukraine. The UK Royal Air Force C-17 cargo planes began flying sorties to Boryspil International Airport outside Ukraine capital of Kiev yesterday, taking a route that appeared designed to avoid German airspace. After British authorities publicly announced that the planned arms shipments, this all comes amid simmering concerns that Russia may be planning to launch a new large-scale military intervention into Ukraine. I think they mean invasion, but they're trying to be politically correct here maybe and calling it an intervention as if it's a good thing. Hey, we're trying to save Ukraine. Okay, fears that have sparked anew as Russian troops flood neighboring Belarus, ostensibly for SNAP exercises next month. German authorities have made it clear that they did not ban the British flights from entering their airspace for any reason, and UK officials had not requested permission to send the C-17s over their country on the way to Ukraine. This was subsequently confirmed by UK ministers of defense. And here you can kind of see the flight path it took. And I guess it could have gone a little bit through German airspace, but it just didn't. It went through Poland and across Denmark there. Here's a more detailed image of the flight. And this makes it more clear that it would have been more efficient to go over German airspace. I wonder why they just didn't do that. I don't know. Interesting. The exact reasons for why all the RAF C-17 flights to Ukraine have been tracked online so far, two more which occurred today, have taken the route that skirts Germany is unclear. The flight path takes the jet out over the North Sea before sending them east across Denmark into the Baltic Sea. From there, they turn southeast and fly through Poland to the Ukraine. It seems like it's out of their way, like they shouldn't need to do that, but who knows what's going on. Hey, does anybody who lives, because I know we have a lot of European viewers, are there any kind of tensions right now between Germany and UK for something not related to Ukraine? Like, is there something else going on that we need to know about? I'll continue reading here while you guys think about that. On Twitter, Andy Northwood, a former C-17 pilot, suggested favorable winds or weather could cause this flight path. Okay, so it could be other factors like weather. That would make sense. Let's see what Apricot Sausage says. He says, I think the UK aircraft passed over the North Sea to check on the Russian landing ships. Well, I suppose the C-17 could look out the window, but we also have P-8 Poseidons and S-100Ds from Sweden tracking those ships as well. The current German government has complex relationship with Russia, most notably over increasingly controversial gas pipeline project called the Nords Dream 2, which is now delayed ostensibly over an administrative issue. Does anybody know about this Nords Dream 2? I've heard this name. It's come up here in America a few times, and I honestly don't know about it. So let's take a moment and educate ourselves. What is Nord Stream 2 and how Putin's pipeline paralyzes the West? Oh, wow. And if we're just judging by this drawing, it's connecting Kamchatka Peninsula through Siberia and Russia into, looks like Poland, and then that would go into Germany right there, and all the way down into Spain, like trans 2 continents, Asia to Europe. Very interesting. Okay. The saga of Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline between Russia and Germany running along the Baltic seabed has been stuck so long it's been likened to a suitcase at an airport without a handle, impossible to abandon and impossible to carry forward. Most of the original cast of characters, including Angela Merkel and David Cameron, have left the political stage. Only one politician has survived the entire story: Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, the master of divide and rule. The first announced in 2015 for 11 billion, is that euros or dollars? Dollars signed, $11 billion. The pipeline, owned by Russia state-backed energy giant Gazprom, has been built to carry gas from Western Siberia, doubling the existing capacity of Nord Stream 1 pipeline and keeping a 26 million German homes warm at an affordable price. But the one thing the pipeline is not is lamely claimed by former German Chancellor Merkel is purely commercial project. It has a vast geostrategic consequence for every inch of pipe pitched political and legal battle. Okay. Well, that seems like that is its own video. Like maybe we do a video on what the Nord Stream 2 is, but let's just go with the basics. It's connecting, gas, I guess natural gas, from Siberia, far eastern Russia, all the way to Germany. All right, so now that we know what the pipeline does, let's see what we have here. Oh, they even showed the winds over Germany during the time of the flight. So looking at the winds, they did favor a northerly route via Denmark last night, so this could easily have been the explanation. Personally, I've never experienced any problems with German diplomatic clearance, says Andy Netherwood on Twitter. And he's one of the guys that I guess used to fly the C-17s. Regardless of the RAF air bridge to Ukraine appears to be continuing steadily into the second day. So this isn't just 1 or 2 flights. This is a train of supplies going into the Ukraine. That is very interesting. So we are arming the Ukrainians to at least be able to have some defense against light armor. So UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace told members of the country's parliament yesterday, a small number of UK personnel will also provide early stage training for a short period. Yeah, you got to send some advisors and show them how to, use the equipment. But my understanding is that as far as the Javelin goes, which is not this weapon, the Javelin's very easy to learn to use. And then you just need practice with it. Operation Orbital is the official name of the British military's security assistance mission to Ukraine, which began in 2015. So this is a continuation of a program that they've had for many years now. He says, let me be clear, this support is for short range and clearly defensive weapon capabilities. It's not a strategic weapon and poses no threat to Russia. They are for use in self-defense, and the UK personnel providing early stage training will return to the UK after completing it. So he's making it clear that we're not putting UK troops on the ground in Ukraine. We're just putting some instructors, essentially, to get them some experience with these weapons. As for the C-17 carrying, the British authorities did not specify what anti-armor weapon they're being supplied with, and has since been confirmed by Ukrainian officials that it is the NLAW. Okay, and here we go. We got that picture again. This is a really cool photo. So, like the launcher tube, that looks a lot like the American Javelin. The missile looks a little bit different. And there you got the little like booster thing that pushes it out of the tube. And I guess after that, it must have a sustainer motor of some kind. The NLAW is known as the main battle tank and light tank weapon, or the MBT law, is a single-shot infantry anti-tank system consisting of a disposable launcher preloaded with a single missile. The weapon can be fired in 2 distinct modes, direct attack or top attack, in which the NLAW ammunition is set to detonate above the tank, where the armor is typically weakest. Let's see if we can play this without getting in trouble. Whoa, holy crap, that thing hauls ass. Holy shit, that's a fast missile. Yes! Oh, that needs to be a ride at Disney World. That'd be awesome. Go. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You can see when that sustainer motor kicks in, it just goes. Oh, man. I was going to say, regardless of guided anti-tank weapon, we have long viewed as an important equalizer for the Ukraine military for any future large-scale conflict. Yeah, because there are at least 40, and probably more than that, but we know, or I know of at least 40 battalion tactical groups, which is chock full of armor and artillery that, you know, if they go into Ukraine, it's going to take a weapon like that to push back against them. With this in mind, it's not surprising that the U.S.-made Javelin anti-tank missiles, highly capable weapon that are fired from a reloadable launch system, unlike the NLAW, are often touted as one of the country's more significant defense acquisitions in recent years. Last December, the Ukraine military showed off the results of a live fire demonstration of Javelins against targets meant to represent Russian tanks. Let's see if we can watch that. Let's see. Oh, wow. So even with the... I believe they call this fencing, where it's designed to detonate the warhead before it hits the actual armor, severely, you know, lessening the impact. It cuts right through it and destroys the turret. That is quite a thing. Let's see how long this video is.
На одному із загальновійськових полігонів в районі проведення
операції. Let's go ahead and mute it because I don't understand a word he's saying. But there they are with the American Javelin. Now the Javelin is reloadable. That's the big thing. Like they can reuse that launch device. It just clicks right on the tube, and then you chuck the tube. Let's get to the missile part. There we go. You couldn't really tell how fast it was going in that video. I kind of like the NLAW. The NLAW is pretty quick. Hey, does any of my armor buddies in chat know what this is called? This extra armor they put on? I think it's called fencing, but I don't want to misspeak here. Let's see if anybody in chat knows. Fencing is to mess up contact warheads. Yeah, okay. So it is called fencing. Oh, slat armor. Okay, slat armor sounds right. Okay. Oh, and it's to mess up direct contact warheads because they would hit the slats and then detonate at the slat. Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. And they have a ton of pictures here. I encourage everyone to go to the WarZone and click on this story and look at these photos. Both weapons are really effective against tanks. So, even with the slat armor. And there you can see the warhead coming down. I guess that's in the top attack mode like they talked about. I always imagined that the missile would be flying horizontal to the ground over the top of the tank, not dive bombing it like this, but hey. There it is being launched. Very cool. All right, let's get back to the story. Where's the story? Here it is. The U.S. government has sent an additional Javelins to the Ukraine, among other weapons, and has been looking to put together additional military assistance packages, a number of American allies and partners from beyond the United Kingdom. I know Turkey has been selling them drones. So they do have Turkish suicide drones that can do a top attack on anything. It doesn't have to be armor. Yeah. So they're getting a lot of, you know, weapon assistance. Even though nobody's putting troops in Ukraine, we're giving them a lot of weapons. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Russia does make its move and then captures a lot of those weapons. That's something you got to think about. You know, you're not getting the weapons back. Either Ukraine's going to keep them or Russia's going to take them. So. All right. I don't want to read the whole story word for word for you, but let's see if we can get to a summary here. It says, there are some other worrisome signs that the Kremlin may be moving closer to making a final decision to use military force against Ukraine to secure its policy objectives. For one, Russia has begun shrinking its diplomatic presence in Kiev, sending diplomats and their families home. That is not a good sign. When they start doing that, that's when you know there's less risk for Russia to take military action when they remove their diplomats. They didn't say they removed all of them, but they are sending their families and some of them home. Belarus dictatorial president Alexander Lukashenko, a major ally of Russia, Vladimir Putin, who is embroiled in his own spat with countries along the western borders, which that would be Poland and Lithuania over there to the west, has taken an equally hardline situation on Ukraine. Yeah, he's kind of fallen in line with Russia because he doesn't have any other friends. So he's like, as Putin goes, he follows. I'm not surprised about that. And finally, it says, altogether, these developments are clearly driving the latest spike in concerns about a potential new Russian invasion. They use the word this time, invasion of Ukraine, which could come very soon should the Kremlin decide to take that course of action. This is clearly, among other things, driving the British government's efforts to move as many NLAW missiles into Ukraine as they can, to do so in short order, to potentially deter, or to have a deter, in fact, with its new air bridge. Yeah. So I don't know if sending these missiles to Ukraine will lessen the likelihood of an invasion, but it's certainly better than doing nothing. I mean, at least someone's taking action. And I can tell, we know of 3 countries at least. The UK, the United States, and Turkey are selling weapons and maybe even giving weapons to the Ukraine. Because at this point, it's not about trying to make money off these. We're trying to stop an invasion of another country. What do you guys think? Is this a good idea? Is this only escalating tensions by doing this? Let's see, the real birth control. Jeez, I love your name, sir. The Ukraine keeps asking for German weapons. Okay, and the chancellor is denying them. I didn't know that. So maybe the German government just did not want weapons. Yeah, they said at the beginning of the story that was not the case, that permission was not asked for, and that's why it never came up. But we all know politics is really deep. So maybe they knew if they asked for permission and then it was denied, well, then you got a story, don't you? So maybe the UK did the right thing and said, hey, the weather's bad, it's pushing us north anyway, let's just go around Germany and not even have an issue. That might be the case. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the chat.